stigmatized. I never see it as a stigma word. Because if I would have known there was such a thing as recovery and there's all these options, I truly believe things would have been different. But truly, God allowed me to go through the things, blessed me, honored me to go through the things I went through to be here today, because I wouldn't be here today. And so with that being said, I'm going to just get us going on a training, and we'll figure this out. So can I get something up here like a little, you know what, I'll use this chair. This is going to be interesting. So I live with chronic pain, you guys. Horrible chronic pain. I get Botox injections. I've had the 4th round, and I feel like a new human, okay? I've had neck surgery. My bone didn't grow around my fusion. And prior to that, I've had 6 hand surgeries. My right side, I'm gonna show you something. My fingers don't click at the same time. I can't get them to click at the same time because this hand doesn't work right. So when I type, I'm a mess, okay? So I think I've typed something and then letters pop up in the wrong places and it's just a disaster. So I have to like focus and then your head starts hurting. And this is the back of my head. So right now when I hear something, sometimes I talk real fast because I try to get the pounding to stop so I can let the words out. So when I forget things, I'm forgetting them because I have a pounding like this all the time. That's why I forget things. So I live with chronic pain, but you know, I choose not to use opiates. My doctor keeps wanting to give them to me, and I say no. So I get injections, I take nerve medication, I meditate, but I have God. I have the grace of God. But the grace of God tells me, hey, Muhannah, you need to lay down often. I get energy like this, and the reason I get energy, I hear those claps, and I hear that praise God, and I see someone where part of my documentary, Village, I'm trying to think of Serenity Village. Yep, Serenity Shore. I took pictures there and jumping off the dock on my own and did some other things, and that's where I met my first person I've ever sponsored. And you know what? He's past 60 days of recovery. Yes. And I will mention something about that. Alcohol, cunning, baffling, and holy cow. I've helped people with heroin, I've helped people with meth, and I've helped people with alcohol. But firsthand, I got to see this 7-day bender. I got to see what it does within a family. And then I started going, gosh, am I doing the right thing? Do I know what I'm doing? And then, because he kept going, and then he'd call me. I knew him more drunk than I knew him sober. And that was insanity, but he had so much pain. And it's just so amazing. When you talk to someone about alcohol and the younger generation stuff, they've all tried other drugs, they've done all these other things. Married, 30 years old, has a good job, making good money. So treatment is, already had 1 round of treatment. You can't miss out on that because you need to keep the family going. His wife was ready to leave him this last time. And, so I ended up getting involved. He admits he called me. He's my doctor. He admits he called me when he was drunk. Because I met him at Serenity Village, Serenity Shore, and he goes, I honestly went up to him, you guys, and said, you can have this. And I honestly, for the wildest dreams of me, I never thought he would call me. No kidding you. And then, my phone rings and it's him. I'm like, what? This can't be possible. And we started talking, then I went and saw him, and then he asked me to be a sponsor, and it took 2 months. I felt like a failure. I thought, what am I doing? Am I doing things right? And now we got past 60 days. So there's miracles that happen, because there was a miracle. And he's found God, because he wanted that. Spirit, because he had trouble with that, because someone in his life committed suicide. And we talked about those things, and we talked about mental wellness. And he asked just for recovery. And he had a sponsor that neglected him and thought he's not going to make it. When I sponsor someone, and when you choose to sponsor someone, You have to know in your heart that they're going to have recovery. No matter what journey they take you on, no matter what happens, you need to believe in their recovery, because then you should not be their sponsor. I really believe that in my heart. I even made them sign a contract because I'm a certified peer recovery coach. I'm a certified support specialist, and I do some forensic stuff. So, as a sponsor, you can probably be pulled by the ears and say, hey, listen to me a little bit better. So I did all that. So why I started doing this training is that kids are getting overdosed, and you guys in senior homes, Naloxone needs to be there. I'll tell you why. Because these seniors, they get their pain meds, they save them up, and then they try dying. They overdose often. I'm going to tell you a story about a priest. We got to thank the North Memorial. He overdosed on heroin, did his kit, woke up again, got going again to give his do his mass. This is really happening. It's not just in the streets. It's hidden. We have kids who are giving their parents Naloxone, injecting them to save them when they do an overdose, because they're finding fentanyl and everything. And it's not just for the heroin addict. And I'm going to tell you, it started out this way. Pain meds, okay? I used to be on pain meds anyways. I never had a problem with them. I'm blessed by God because I never had a problem with them. They didn't really do me that great, so this is why I've chosen to. I'm in the recovery community, so I've chosen not to take them. And drinking is not my problem, but you guys, because I support my brothers and sisters, I don't drink at all. So I choose these things on my own. That's the journey that God has given me to do. And this is interesting. You guys, I see a therapist to understand that it's okay to be happy as a male. And not because I have a lot of trauma and all that stuff, but to say that it's okay to be happy. That's a doozy. Who does that? And the reason I do it, and then I have a radio show. It's called the Rise Up Hour, all things recovery. Ashley's been on there twice, talking about her journey, because I've watched her grow and develop. And the reason I do that is that I don't even know what I'm doing on there. That's how I started out. And it's all about just giving hope, because without hope, we have darkness. And I truly believe that people in recovery, and if someone is an addict or an alcoholic, they choose how to name themselves. I don't judge. See, I don't judge. And then we have harm reduction, which is a little hard to deal with, but I don't judge. Because if they're going from heroin to cannabis, I'm okay with that, okay? I really am, because, and then we should not judge, and I'm gonna say this freely. I take medications to survive and be here, how I function. We should not judge, and we should not use that as a reason that something's wrong with them. What a doctor does between his patient and him that's confidential. So when we're in the AA rooms and we're in all this, we talk about abstinence. Abstinence is then, do we tell a diabetic that they can't take their medications? Do we tell someone who's got heart problems? Do we tell people with high blood pressure? We have to think really deeply in how we can harm someone, hurt someone. Because remember, when someone walks into that room in the first time and we start judging them and then they're new, we have to remember how we're supporting them. And so what happens when we have this devastating part of naloxone is that these kits have needles in them. So the first part is, I tried to get them in at schools, okay? And they said, oh, Muhannah, you can't do that because schools won't allow it because they have needles. Well, kids are overdosing, so this is what a kit has in it. And so, and I'm gonna use 2 chairs because that will show them, and I won't hurt the music there. And I'm gonna get my arm thing out, because we're going to act like we have one of these, and we're going to act like we're just getting a kit, and we don't know what's really going on with the kit. That's how I'm going to teach you guys today. And Ashley, I'm going to have you come up here, because you're going to be someone who's going to improvise with me, okay? Or I can ask someone in the crowd, in the group. Does someone want to come up here and be my person who's going to be overdosing? I'll take two of you. You and you, okay? So we're going to talk about signs and all that stuff, okay? Yep, sit. One of you guys sit right here, and one of you guys sit right here, okay? So right there, and then the other one will sit right back here.
I've actually overdosed 6 times.
So you know.
Yep.
I'm glad you're here.
3 times for me.
Okay, great. So when we open a kit up, you're going to get 3 vials of Naloxone. And I'm going to talk about the community disparament, okay? Black and white, black community is 3 times more liable to go into overdose, okay? The death rate. Native American, 8 times more to have overdose. And I'll tell you why. Because of medical, because of support, lack of resources. And then let's talk about problems with the group. So I'm black. I'm giving you an example. The shame within the group to say there's a problem. So you have that as well within your own community, correct? And then I'm going to talk about something. I'm Jordanian. I'm Eastern Orthodox, born of Christian descent. So people are like, you're Muslim, you're this or that. But the reason I say that and the reason I have to explain that is that I believe in the earth, the grounding, how we're humbled and how we're touched and we're blessed. But you are my sister. You are my brother, and we need to start acting like that. Because we really have a problem, and this is why we have so many problems, and this is why we're in the house of God right now. It's a church, a place of healing. And I heard what you said, not religion here. And that's what I love about you. I really, you know why I asked her, could I give her a hug? I felt that was the first thing I said to her, because can I just give you a hug? You have something beautiful in you. So, and the gal back there too, I just love her. Yeah. So what happens is when they're going in overdose, there's signs that we have to look over, okay? And I wish I could bring up my guide because the internet didn't work, none of that. So I'm just going with this. So telltale signs are low breathing, right? Yep. Blue lips. If I'm black, look down. It could be white. Now, hey, you guys, Narcan, Steve from the Hope Network has done something really neat. You get nervous, because you're going to get nervous when you do this. And I thought, am I really doing something right, doing this, all these trainings and stuff, you guys? I've gotten a couple calls. They tell me they've saved a life. It's miracles that happen. Just when I'm questioning myself, have I saved a life? Am I really doing this for a reason? And by God in heaven, twice. And I was down, I'll tell you, 'cause sometimes I get down, because sometimes my pain is really bad. Sometimes I hurt. Because, in the recovery world, sometimes people have envy just because you love. Many people said, it's going to go away, this energy or this love that you have. You guys, it's me. I'm Muhannah, and I can't change it. And I love being who I am, and I love being alive, and I love recovery, and I love God, and I love being a spiritual person. That is recovery for me. And if someone wants to change that on me, you know what? That's their choice, but I get to be me. So when we want to change someone, we don't change them. We allow them to grow. So I do all recovery meetings, and many of the people on the journey have had spirituality, and they go, hey, I want to know more about God. Let me learn this journey. I want to go to church now. Then I will guide them to that. But I'm not going to say you have to have God, you have to go to church, or you have to have Jesus in your heart right now, or you're not going to have recovery, or you're not going to really get it. Who are we to say that? Who are we to say that, especially someone who needs recovery? Because we're already turning someone away to die. And so you get this wonderful thing that tells you how to do it. And I love it. It's like, are they breathing? Signs of an overdose. Slow, shallow breathing, grasping for air when sleeping, weird snoring. Is another change of skin tone, pale, blue, gray, right? Also slump down. Slow heartbeat, low blood pressure. Won't wake up or respond. So, okay, this is what I do. They say shake gently. Nope. Wake up! Seriously. Don't be shy. And you know what? The sternum, right between the chest. And I don't care if it's a guy or a girl. Rob. Okay? If they don't wake up, now I'm going to tell you the secret though. If they don't wake up, and you're wondering, oh, is this alcohol? Because I smell booze on the breath. They could be passed out from the booze. We don't know. Will the naloxone harm them? No, it won't. There's a 0.001% chance it will. Okay, by now you've already called the ambulance because they're not responding. Because this is what, so I'm gonna explain. Meth, stimulants, Adderall, all those things, cocaine, none of those are opiates, okay? So naloxone doesn't reverse that. Antidepressants. We're going to talk about, who knows some of the names of, yes, and Xanaxes and some of those other ones that are out there. Wellbutrin, benzos, yes. And then we're going to go into the ones that are we know this, oxycodones, Oxycontin, Vitakin, Tylenol 3 with codeine. There's all those things. Let's see, any of those. Even, well, we already know, let's see, which ones have we missed? There's a lot out there. Percocets, that's a big one. And Percocets right now, there's a lot of pressed Percocets out in the community. They're fake. They look just like the real thing. You don't know where you're getting them from. Kids are dying from Percocets. Adults are dying from Percocets. Did you guys hear the news this last weekend? In 24 hours in Minneapolis, 3 people died from overdoses within a 24-hour period. 3 people died. Last year, Steve Bremler did almost 4,000 people went in the hospital. For almost 4,000 people. That doesn't talk about, they've done 13,000 people have been trained. Actually going on 15,000 kits have been handed out. It's been an ongoing thing. And we also do fentanyl test strips now for people to test. I'll explain a little bit about that, why I believe that's important as well. But now I'm shaking her, no response. Call 911. Just call 911. Steve's Law protects you. So when you talk to your friends and you know someone's active in addiction, okay, people have died. So when we're in recovery, I'm going to explain something. When we're in recovery, we cannot be snots and snoots. We cannot think we're better because we are no better. But we need to know our boundaries with recovery. If you cannot be around people that have a problem and can't support them, that's understand. So do love. Listen openly, validate everything. And what does that mean? When you listen and you openly validate everything, you don't say, you have a problem. I can't be around that because it's my recovery. And so it affects me. Instead of saying, you have a problem, it's all you. Because it's not really them, it's that you can't be around, because it's your recovery that's important. And I respect you on that. But also let them know that there's naloxone, overdose, and let them know that there's danger. But let them know that, hey, I've been there, I've had recovery. So once you go through those steps, call 911, someone is unresponsive, give the address if you can. Make sure the airway's open, so both you guys lay down. I'm gonna show you what happens when that happens. So everyone makes a mistake. Airway's open, often. They just go airway, lift the neck, and open the airway, okay, underneath. Because the airway's not open when you breathe in the mouth. You don't have to do this, but you know the cool thing about the kit, because of COVID, I'm not gonna worry about it, because I've done so well, and you guys, I just got COVID, and it was something else, but I lasted a long time, and I made it, so that's all that matters. But there's a little thing in here. It's in the kit. The reason I'm looking for something big, because I always open them. Little face mask. got a barrier, goes right over the face. Breathe in. If the stomach goes up, you're breathing wrong. Tilt the neck. So her neck, I'll just go underneath, tilt it up, reach with the hand and lift, okay? Then it's tilted up, and then do the breathing. If you don't want to do the breathing, that's okay, but make sure the airway's open anyways. So once that happens, you do the 2 rescue breaths every 5 seconds. This one says 1, but you do 2. If they're any better, you can get your Naloxone and prepare quickly enough. And I'm going to talk about preparation. Okay, now you're shaking. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be doing this in Naloxone. So, and by the way, do you know Minnesota has some of the highest disbarment than any other place? So when I talk about Black community and I talk about Native American, we have, Minnesota's like some of the best in all these other areas. When it comes to the drugs, we have the highest disbarment in other areas. So we're not on top of those areas. We had all the uprise. We had all these things happen. We're scared to call the police. Oh yeah, we're scared to call the police, you guys, when something happens.
There's a law, though.
Yep. What is that law called? Steve's Law.
Steve's law, yeah.
And you want now I'll tell you who Steve's Law is. Steve Rumbler, Hope Network.
Yeah.
So the opioid epidemic started out when, you guys remember when all those oxy pills were being handed out by doctors like candy? Did you know they knew that they were addictive? They knew. So there's parents, kids, professionals. There's 3 cycles that happen. It was the pills, and then when they stopped giving the pills. And I'm going to say this, Minnesota recently in August passed a law that those who have chronic pain who need them, because those people are going to the streets and dying because they're finding the wrong pills and end up dying. Because doctors said, I don't want to treat you because I don't want to get in trouble by the DEA. So what happened when those happened? Steve went and tried heroin for the first time. His parents found him dead. So within 11 days, they had money, I assume. They created the organization. And then what's interesting is Steve's Law, because you know what happens? When you talk to your friends, this is what I was talking about earlier, and you got me back on track. Thank you. Bless your heart. See, there's a reason she said yes. And I know you're laying there this morning, what's going on here? And I love the sparkles on her. Okay, so this is what happens. They need to call the cops. Normally, the EMS comes. There's a law that protects you. If there's drugs there.
If you have drugs on you, they won't lock you up. But you can call for your friends to save them.
Yep, because it used to happen that they get so scared, they just leave the person, and what would happen? The person would be dead. Literally. Because they're scared. And if you have that stuff on you, or time to slip away in the crowd after the paramedics get there or whatever, but even if you're at a home or anything like that, you're protected. And they're trying to even make it even more protection on that, okay? Because if you have a whole bunch, and maybe that at that moment, it's time to start wondering, what am I doing? Because someone's dying on me. And I truly believe this, you guys. Talking about doing stricter laws. There's the mothers who get on drugs and the young men. Those are the people we don't need to be locking up in jail and taking the kids away and doing all this trauma. It's the dealers who are really the ones that know what they're giving and know that they're selling the fentanyl and know that they're killing people. So it's not about getting the numbers up. It's about getting who's really causing the problem. I, for the first time in my life, was compelled, and I applied to be on the opioid council for the governor's on the governor's council, because DHS is okay, but DHS does not have all the answers. So I want to say there's other ways to help those individuals, and having all that money that's come in from the opioid response, from all these different pharmacies and stuff, pharmaceuticals, I want the money to be spent differently, because there needs to be options for those who have never used it and have other programs that we can support those to get recovery, to get shelter, and also to have long-term support for recovery. Example, you go into treatment, it's acute. It's just for that moment. You come to this here, you have this weekly, don't you? So this is long-term support. They need that. Free services. They should offer that, support that, and fund that, not just fund treatment centers, because treatment centers is a revolving door, okay? And what do they operate on? Money. Really, it's true. And really, having a recovery coach and conflict of interest from within the organization, yeah, we want to keep them within. So I'm a voice, and I'm talking about this. I really believe in this. Livable wages. Hello, we have to have livable wages. We're saving the state millions of dollars, billions in the end, because they're not going back in treatment. We're doing all this extra stuff. And you can have a sponsor, and you can have a recovery coach, and you can have your church, and you can have the support, because it's a family that continues to support you. I like that, because you know what I'm talking about. Because sometimes it's, oh, no, you don't. Yes, you need a lot of support. And sometimes in your life, you drop off on some of it, but you always come back to it somehow. It's part of life. So when that's going on, you prepare the Naloxone. I'm going to tell you 2 different ways to prepare it, okay? So, and you probably know about Naloxone, both you guys, right?
Yes. It saved me 6 times.
6 times, gosh, that's a miracle. So I'm going to...
The one, my heart stopped, and they had to revive me.
Did they give you a couple of vials of it? So this is what, because you know what happens when you have when you overdose on an opioid. It's a round ball. It sets in your brain. It teaches your brain to slow the heart down and stop breathing. It's actually what it does. When you have too much of it, it slows the heart down. So when you're used to doing heroin, and then you get a synthetic. Okay, so it's 50 times stronger. Fentanyl is, and the reason they use that also, it's easier not to detect by the dogs when it's synthetically made, getting into the country. And then carfentanil is for elephants. A drop will kill you. You in a little vial like this. Just see where you see how much a little bit of glass is right there. That's heroin will kill you. Fentanyl. Yeah, it's not even, yeah. And so you just, I'll show you. So you mix a little fentanyl. Doesn't get mixed right. Bad amount of fentanyl can kill someone. Now, maybe for her, she was used to it a little bit because she'd had other opioids.
But even when I knew that it was fentanyl, I tried to put more water in it, and I still overdosed.
Yes, because it doesn't work that way. So you know. But those who don't know, like a kid or someone who's doing cocaine, who never uses it, they can go in extreme overdose because their body has no understanding of it. It goes to their brain, they stop breathing. So what I'm saying about that is, once they go into that state, what you do next is you call 911, you evaluate it. So these are what you call intramuscular injections, okay? And I'm going to show you how you do it. In their vial, you get 3 of these. Take the cap off. Okay, now I'm going to just say something. Are you going to be nervous, right, when you're doing it? Yeah. So we're going to bring this here, and then we're going to bring guys' arms, because we know this part. Some people know about injecting, and some people don't, okay? So in my trauma, you guys, the people that I was with who were on heroin, and I've shared this only a few times, because I didn't do that, I didn't inject. They tied me down, held me down, injected me with, it's whatever they call it, balls, something like that, with heroin in it, because I didn't react, because I didn't shake and want more, and I didn't have a withdrawal. They got mad at me. So that was part of the problem. That was part of the reason. I wanted to go because I tried to help, and they start taking advantage of you, and they start taking everything, but I realized they're really sick. And those out there are sick, and those out there know that there's support and help and don't want it. And we have to understand that. But those who don't want it need something else, because those who don't want it and continue to steal and do harm and damage, we have to have other sources. And those individuals deserve to get punished. I mean, I'm being honest. They deserve to get locked up if they're going to continue to do what they do and know what they're doing, and know that in the right state of mind, they know what they're doing and want to do it, and know their support and their services, and just don't want to do it. They can't keep harming people either. Yep. But when they find God and we find support, hope, sometimes they want to change. So we can't close our eyes to them. Yeah. But sometimes they need to be in a place that will allow them to recover. Yes. And so I do this. I'm going to be shaking when I do it. So take the cap off. You guys, it opens up from there's three vials in here. But when you open them up, you unwrap them. Hey, hand me that one right there, that brown bag.
The person, I think it was like my third overdose. I was getting high with them. It was him and his mom, and I woke up on the floor, and I was mad because my high was gone.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. That's part of it.
But those two people that helped me, the son ended up overdosing, dying, and then the mom overdosed and was dead. North side, Minneapolis.
Can you hand me that little piece of paper from Steve Rumler? So here goes another part of this, okay? So you get this, you open it up, and what I do, removed it like this, okay? Anytime a cap drops, anytime you need to put it on, I don't care what you're doing, drop it on the flat surface. Flat surface, drop your cap top on a flat surface, use the flat surface, find the needle, and see, I'm on the opposite direction, and cover it, and use your 2 fingers to close it. Do not twist, because you can't remove the needle, but use 2 fingers to remove it. Never put your finger on top. Anywhere, flat surface, take it, do this, okay? Just remember that always, because we're talking about dirty needles sometimes. Yeah. Okay, nurses do this, you guys, they're professionals, they hold it up. I'm gonna show you my easiest one. Take the plunger, reduce it to 1, put air in it. Then what I do, you have the flat surface, there's a rubber center, put the needle in, push the air in,
And it sucks it up.
and it automatically sucks it up.
Sorry.
I like that. Now, let's ask this. When I do this, since it's an intramuscular, by the way, as someone who's used in the past, is this a needle that you want to use?
Actually, I had to.
Yeah.
I didn't have any veins, so I had to use the bigger ones.
But
It probably wasn't that big, but I had to.
yeah, but it's often something a person does not want because they don't want to hurt their veins.
Yeah.
They need it small because it's very important. This is not meant for a person who's using drugs rapidly and stuff like that. Yeah. It really isn't.
Yeah.
So,
I used it when I didn't have it.
yeah. Okay. So you guys aren't helping me right here. Okay. But you at least are being honest, you guys. So at least I know I'm getting to the. Yes. They were like, you guys were deep into it. I mean, you guys, this is a testament. I mean, when I hear, because I know something about needles, okay? And I know these are big needles. That's why they've used them. Because these aren't like the ones that they give you for flu shot. These are the big, thick needles. But I'm just saying, because you don't want to ruin a vein because they want to be able to use a vein to get stuff in. So this is a muscular shot, okay? So if there's air in it, you can just get rid of it. But you don't have to be scared about the air because it's going in the muscle because you're not going to kill them. Okay, who plays darts out here? Who's played darts? Hands up, I want to see them. Who's all done it? Okay, good, we got a good group of that, okay? So you don't put it in like this, lightly. Yep, and so I'm going to explain something. The arm, the thigh, or the leg, or the butt, I mean. Okay, you get gloves. Put them on if you want. If you have time to. Okay, I didn't care. Okay, this is what I'm going to say, okay? You got little alcohol wipes. If you want to be fancy dancing, wipe off a spot. Okay? Okay, I'm just saying, because we have to do all this. Okay, really, this is thinning up into here. I would actually do it through this shirt if I had to. Yeah. I would. This too, if it's jean jacket, can I get your name, Pastor? Are you a pastor? Yeah. Okay, I'm not sure. I just want to make sure I know right. Okay, Pastor Mary. Okay, so.
What about jeans?
You know what, jeans, if it's a tight jean, just do it, okay? But you don't just do it like this. And let me explain, who's all had a flu shot or something like that? If you guys ever notice they put the needle all the way in? Okay, so here's the fat layers of your skin. This is your skin layer, this is your muscle, and this is the bone. If you hit a bone, it's not gonna hurt them, okay? They're gonna feel a little pain later, but it's not gonna hurt them. Just lift the needle a little further and let it go out. And the reason I'm saying that is that when you fill that up with that, it's easier. Now, let's be the shaky person, okay? There's the other way of doing it. And this is the professional nurse's way. Okay, personally, I'm not a nurse. I don't want to be a nurse. I've done medical things. I've been trained on it. I like a flat surface. Okay, once injection's done, you lift this, okay? So what I've done now is I've done it, I put it in, just jab. You guys, this is what I used to say, jab, and I changed that language, but I got a call from someone that said, Muhannah, all I remember you saying, just jab them, okay? Just jab them. You know why? Because if they're drunk and they're passed out, it's not gonna hurt them. If they're on a different drug and they're hallucinating, they're laying there, it's not gonna hurt them, okay? And sometimes they're on alcohol and they think that they need their back pain medicine or something. They think they didn't take it and they've taken it 5 different times. If they're in overdose state, it will save them from that at that point. It will reverse that. So what happens when naloxone has 3 little bubbles in it and it goes to the brain receptors. It literally will block. I mean, this has been around for years and years and years. Did you know in Florida, you guys? Did you know in Florida? I'm going to talk about Minnesota being a little ahead. Did you know it's illegal for us, for people to carry this kit? Do you know it's called paraphernalia? You get in trouble. Fentanyl test strips. The paramedics and police can't carry it around. It has to be in their vehicle. So we are way ahead. And so there's changes happening. This changes lives. This saves lives. Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. So then this is the other way to do it. I'm going to show you, okay? So it's going to look funny, but people get nervous, and this is a way to prevent poking yourself by using a flat surface, okay? Take the dial, have it upside down. We all see this on TV. You know, you probably be a professional. Yep. First of all, you've seen someone laying there dead, okay? Basically, or just unconscious. Yeah. You're shaking, blue. You're like, oh my gosh. Okay, really, it's going to be hard to focus. I would just use your hand and focus on it. At an angle, I do it and put it in. Now you have to look in the midst of all this, bring the needle down and try to suck it in, okay?
It takes a long time.
Yeah, because then if you don't have it all the way down, you have to put it back in.
And we need that time, seconds.
So, and then you get the arrow, you know, if you want. If someone, I'm going to show that there is these things that people have, because our nasal, and I'm just going to offer this. I don't know why they don't make, so why I want to be on the governor's council, you guys, I'm talking about my new design, I'm sharing it with you guys, because I want all kits to be made like this. I think they really could. It's just ingenious, because you twist the top off, put this on. I really think all kits can be made as nasal.
Yeah, oh my goodness, wow.
So
I've used that too.
So I believe that this costs money to do. I believe that the kit should be all made, prepped, and that you just use a needle.
Yeah.
Saves lives.
Yes,
we don't have to have an argument about the needle. But I'm just saying that that's another way. That's another way of doing it is through the nasal passage. Just wanted to let you know that.
Yeah.
So now you look at him again, and you go, oh, oh yeah. Look, sorry.
Right in front of you.
Now you look at them again. Are they evaluate and see if they're breathing? Okay. What happens after 2 minutes if they don't start breathing?
You have to do it again.
You have to do it again. By the way, this naloxone only lasts 90 minutes in you. Okay, only 90 minutes, and it disappears. But if you're on a heavy dose, that's why you call 911, because they'll go back and overdose. It only lasts for a little period. So when that happens, you got to do it again. Use a different spot. Try to do a different spot, and then and hey, does someone have the time to say it out to me? Because I don't know. Oh, 8:06. Okay, I'll take a few more minutes and I'll be done, you guys. I just don't want to stress anyone out on time. I want to respect people's time. So, okay, so when that happens, you go through the whole process again. And by the way, now they're going to wake up. Now her high is gone.
I was pissed.
She's pissed. So someone's going to get up mad. Okay, or am I right? Oh, can you hear me now? Yeah. Or someone's gonna wake up being scared, right? Because you don't know what's happened. And it's not that you've gone, not that you're mad that your high is gone. Also, and then sometimes you go, no. Sometimes they get sick. Why do they get sick?
Because it's instant withdrawal.
It's instant withdrawals, not because of the reversal, not from the Naloxone. And then if you do have a reaction, you've already called the ambulance. Yeah, they're on the way. What is that called? They just jab you with one of the kits for like a bee sting. I forgot what that's called. Adrenaline, EpiPen. So you don't have to worry. So call anyone. When they wake up, this is what I do. Okay, I'm different than all. We all can be different. Instead of saying you need to go get treatment, you need this and that. First of all, tell them, hey, I've been there. I'm not here to judge. I understand. I'm gonna wait for the ambulance to come. I'm gonna wait for them to be here. The reason that that's happening is I don't want you to go back and overdose. Some people are really ashamed. Say, hey, I'm in recovery. I understand. Just give them love. We're gonna make sure you get taken care of. And I just want you to be okay. That's as simple as that. Don't start saying you need to go into recovery and you're like this and this is how you're gonna get healed and this is the only way. Just be real with them because they're gonna remember someone being compassionate. They're gonna not remember someone saying you need this. Because what does compassion do for us?
It makes us want to change.
Yes, compassion. What do we give in this room right now? Compassion. What is another thing we give? Love. And so I just want to say, for everyone here, you get a free complimentary kit. Remember, when you do it, jab them. Wear the gloves. If you want, use alcohol wipes. Always call 911.
First.
Yes, please. If you're in that position, carry them in your center glove department if you want. Not in the glove box because it gets hot and cold. Oh, by the way.
Do they freeze or anything?
No, yeah, let me explain this. Okay. If the FDA has to have expiration dates, they have found out these can last like 30 years. I'm going with my 10-year mark. Can you use them still? Yes. They do expire. After expiration, maybe you need a refresher training. I wish I had my whole projection thing that I did and all that. One day I'll come back, okay? And then I'll show you my documentary too, because it's like 6 minutes. You guys get to see all pathways and the grace of God, what God has done for me. And I think this is on purpose because it means I have to come back here again. So, and I can't believe this is happening because this has been just a day of so many different things, and I feel blessed and I feel honored because I've had a rough day. My friend, I went and saw, took a couple minutes to see him, and because I'm used to saving lives, but then when you know someone's going to God, I've been accepting of it, and I thought we had a long time because there was hospice, but now he's on 24 hours. He's the one that saw me see the light and helped me all this, but we gotta understand, we bring new life in as life goes, but he's gonna be free, he's gonna be with his wife, and something I know truly in my heart, and he told me this today, because last time he said I saved him, and I gave him his life that he needed, and he did all the things. Now it's time for him to go with his family, to be with his wife. But he said today, maybe I'm going to be that one that gets to watch over you. We have that incredible friendship. And then I drove home and I got stuck in traffic and I had to get changed. And then I had to come here. And then it took me on the weirdest way possible because there's traffic on 610 and this and that. A train stopped me and then I'm like running and panicking. And we could have probably figured something out. But you know what? It brought me back to do this whole amazing miracle thing to be here with you guys, and I love seeing this. And it's and you know what? I gotta say something. The spirits in here, the love, the energy. I really feel God's grace in here. I mean, it's beautiful. I mean, it really is. And I usually don't talk a lot about God because but here. I get to be who I want to be. And it's not that I'm ashamed or anything. I follow boundaries because I want people to have recovery, and it's really important for me to do that. But in here, oh, and look, someone's crying. And yes, okay. I cry too, you guys. I'm a guy, and I cry, and I'm proud of it, okay? Woo! Right back there, yes! Yes, okay! It's like one of those, and I have a guys group that I do, you guys, and started out about therapy and stuff, and it's like, hey, guys, I go to therapy now, too. And it's like, they're all excited, and it changes lives, you know why? Because we don't have to hide like we used to. We don't have to have shame, because shame kills us. And all these different things, and shame of drug use, shame of hiding it, kills us. This here, having a kit, doesn't mean you're allowing it, doesn't mean you want it to happen, but this gives you the source to save a life and be a community hero when it needs to be present, okay? That's what it's about, right? And that means I have enough respect, and your pastor has enough respect, and all of us, because you know what? It means that we understand that we're in our recovery, we're strong enough, that we have this, and we can share it with. And when I taught all these about 10 ladies and about 4 guys and 6 ladies in a nursing home, it was a private group, to find out that there was such drug use in these places. It's really sad. And then I saw another church. I did one, and that's my other guy that saved a life, because they at one of these places they didn't have another kit, so he had his kit, and he said it was the strangest feeling, but the guy was dead. He came back, used it again. As the ambulance came, they came and told him, he said, did you know you saved someone's life today? And he said that changed the way he talks, walks, and feels. He became a community hero. And it's not about having a kit. It's about not. It's about not. It's prevention. Natural, pure prevention. It's pure prevention. And we know this town here, and there's drugs in this town. Small towns have it. Let's not hide it. Okay, I live in Maple Plain, Orono High School. It's this high popular school, like high end. Holy cow, you guys! Drugs are rampant in there. These kids are taking pills. Calling my stepson. I'm gonna explain something about him. So I also have Steve Rumler does fentanyl test strips, and I overheard a discussion about college party for New Year's. I can't control all these kids. I can't stop them. They have like 4 or 5 parties a year. I'm like, come on, you guys listen to me about this. Just test this stuff, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we're not doing heroin, we're not doing fentanyl. It's not our thing, they're talking like that to me. I said, please just listen to me. Please just listen to me. And I say it like this. Hey, can I just hand you this, okay? Just use it, please. It's 4 test strips in here. It takes very little of the drug, because you chop it up, you move it around, because if you get a clump of fentanyl, it's going to kill you. Businessman I know. This is a true story. Went out for a weekend, knows it's cocaine. Did the wrong line, was dead. That's a frequent thing. They don't talk about it. Hey, the actress that got in the accident, she died. Yeah, and something, let me tell you the real story about her. If you listen carefully on the news, she had cocaine in her system, and she had fentanyl. So my assumption is she got kind of whacked out from the fentanyl, drove a little off the wall. She died. They say it was an accident from something else. Nope, I believe that was from an overdose, okay? And then I'm going to explain something else real quickly. Every 7 minutes, we lose a life right now. It is the number one, I think it's number one now cause of death. It's being car accidents, you guys. I mean, and it's rampant right now. And now we're starting to know the numbers, the real numbers. So we're saying alcohol this, we're saying this. We're not talking about this. So what this does, they did a test, they tested it. It had fentanyl in it. You know when they have the parties now? They have a test room. Twice. Came to me, Muhannah, I gotta tell you. First, his dad was pissed. And then he's like, oh my God, my son was saved. Because you're not going to be able to stop the kids. because these college kids, all this stuff, people experiment. You know what? And who am I to judge for an experiment? Because it doesn't mean that they're going to be addicts, but at least we're saying be smart. Don't kill yourself. You get to make an option if you want to kill yourself, okay? And those kids are not going out to get that. Those kids who are getting those, and we probably have heard about this, those kids that are going out to do an Adderall to try to study, should they be dead because they bought a couple Adderalls to study? Because those press pills have fentanyl in them and they're dying. Kids are dying from an Adderall, a Xanax. This is real, you guys. We're living in a different day and time, and we need to be prepared to give love, pure love. And
My daughter's dad died from heroin. He was 24 years old, and my daughter was 2 at the time. She's 7. Yeah.
And so we're lucky in the state of Minnesota, but I just got to say, I've been honored, privileged, and I truly, and thank you guys. And you know what? You know what? Kind of the miracle of all this, they volunteered, and here's these two who are like heavy into all of it. And wait, you guys in recovery?
Yeah.
And how long have you been in it?
7 years.
3.
Okay. Wow. Amen. Woo. And that's a joy. And that's like the 10 number, you know. And then mine is.
I'm 30, alcohol free too.
Woo! There we go. So yep, and I enjoy mine. And I'll tell you something. Some days I say I just want to take the pain pills and just have the pain go away. But I just think of the recovery community. If I'm getting my surgeries or anything like that, hey, yes. But it doesn't affect me really. It doesn't help me. I still get the pains and the pounding. And sometimes when I just pray and I meditate now, I've learned how to breathe. Deep breathing. If we breathe with God, I'm going to tell you something, you guys. Say I'm off or not. God blesses us. And if we can find how he blesses us, and you are deep into your blessing, your prayer, and you find that hope, don't let anyone take that away from you and tell you it's not real. Because he is as real as can be. He is in our life. He is our Savior. He changes lives. He gives miracles. And there's miracles every day. And if we don't want to believe that, that's someone's choice. But I choose to believe there's miracles. I choose that today was a miracle. I choose that there's little miracles that happen. And I choose, I was a miracle. I got to live. My mind is still with me. I got to have a pathway. I get to bring joy back in the world, and I get to love again. And my pain that I had as a child, getting abused, getting beat, all these horrible things, sexually abused, all those traumas led me to this. And I thank God that I know how to have empathy and give love back, and I have not turned into a violent, horrible monster, because some of us can do that. But I chose to walk the path with God. And I even had to pray after with a pastor to forgive me for my sins when that happened when I was a kid. And I'm going to tell you something. I used to have such a close relationship with God, and I walked away. When I started walking away, I lost that. And I've been always a spiritual kid. I went to a Lutheran church on my own because I was the baby of 7 kids. Lost 2 brothers to one was death, and all these horrible things. Middle Eastern, so when there's something happening in the Middle East, my friends are Americans, I'm going to say this, start spitting at us, threw rocks at us, treated us horribly. There was prejudice, okay? So all I'm getting at is that through all those life skills I've had, it brought me to become someone who understands and has empathy. Remember, when we feel sorry for ourselves, we make excuses up why we can have bad behavior. But when we give empathy for ourselves, because we know how to give other people empathy, we get to feel the moment and say, I am loved. I deserve to be loved. I deserve to be okay. I deserve to cry. It's okay to cry. It's healing. And you know what? I deserve to work through this. And so when something comes up to trigger my trauma, I get to work through it. I don't have to use meth. I don't have to use drugs. I don't have to use something to get rid of my pain. I can pray. It's okay for me to pray and love God the way I do. And someone doesn't like that, that's okay. That's empathy for yourself. Because I did this, or because it's happened to me that I get to be this way, or I get to do this, those are, when we start having sympathy for ourselves, we need to remember to take a moment and love ourselves a little bit more, even though it's hard. It can be really hard to love ourselves. But if you remember that you have empathy for someone else, just turn around, I know you're feeling it, and have empathy for yourself. Because once we start loving ourselves, because that's hard, and you know what? Forgive yourself. Forgive ourselves. Because when we forgive ourselves from the pain, and we weren't at fault for things that happened to us, were we? But forgive ourselves for not forgetting ourselves. Remember that. And so we get to heal. And let me just take your hand. You're so beautiful. Yes. So we have so much healing happening in this room tonight. So I just want to say praise God and love you guys and thank you guys for having me here.
I think there's a needle by your foot.
Yes, I'm fixing. Ooh, good.
We would love to have you back. I think this is excellent to get to the community. Each person gets one of those, right?
Yes.
Okay.
They can take up the two if they need.
Okay, so you're from